Hello, welcome to my channel, Latina Plants. My name is Jackie. Today on this plant chores video, we're going to work on this bookshelf here. I want to change the lights out because I feel they're not strong enough for my cacti and succulents, as well as I'm not really liking the yellow tone that they give off on the plants. I think that a brighter white light would make the colors pop better on my cacti and succulents, as well as I feel that they need a stronger light because they are getting exfoliated. And so here's a quick little look at everything on the shelf. We're going to go ahead and remove all of the plants off the shelf one by one carefully so I don't drop anything. And some of these plants will make their way back on the shelf, some will not, because I want to kind of keep this shelf just my cacti and succulents on here. And so some of these plants, like the Mandula and the Pothos Enjoy, will not be going back on the shelf. They looked really pretty mixed in there, but like I said, I want to keep more cacti and succulents on these shelves. And the bottom shelf, I decided to use just for storage bins. And now we're going to give the shelves a good wipe down, and then we're going to move on to removing the lights. So here's a look at the shop lights that I want to replace the lights with, and this is the cording. And so they work just like the other Barina lights that I have shown on my channel here. And here I'm showing you that some of these shelves are removable, some are not, which is the reason why I have to drill holes on one of the shelves because it's not removable. And here we're taking off the old lights. I used a Velcro tape previously to adhere these grow lights to the shelves, and they have removable cords. The Velcro tape worked really well, but I wanted to continue to use the VHB tape, the clear 3M VHB tape. And I also didn't have any more of the Velcro tape left, so here my husband is making the holes a little bigger so that the cords could fit. And I do go ahead and clean everything up off camera, and then we can get started on attaching the lights, installing the lights. So here is what the holes look like. My husband made sure that the cord fit here. This bookshelf is a little bit beat up, but it works for now. Once you have all the plants on there, you can't really see the imperfections. I will replace the shelf eventually in the future, but for now, this shelf works great for my cacti and succulents in my living room. It also goes with my decor because I like the dark wood furniture as well as black accents. And so I'm using the 3M tape on the back of the lights. You can do a full strip if you'd like, but these lights are not super heavy, so I figured just a couple pieces on the back was going to be good enough to hold them up. And so far, It's been enough. Nothing has fallen. They have stayed put. The VHB tape is pretty strong, you guys, and it's clear, and so that's why I like to use it. And I haven't found it to damage any of the surfaces either when I remove it, so I like using it. And so here I'm dry fitting the lights to make sure that everything fits well and it works well. I fed the plug through the back of the bookshelf into the light. And now we're going to remove the backing of the tape and go ahead and adhere them to the lip of the bookshelf. I'm angling the light towards the back of the bookshelf because the lights kind of would stick out if I just angled them straight up and down, pointing downwards, because they're kind of thicker lights. And I didn't want you to be able to see the lighting at all, so I wanted to have more of a hidden look. And it works really well. You barely see the lights at all or the cords once you get done. So far, the lights have been okay for my cacti and succulents. Here, I'm trying to show you how the light is kind of hidden in the back of the lip of the shelf there, and you can hardly see any of the cording. And I think it looks nice and neat and clean. And once you put all your plants in there, everything looks really nice. You barely see any cords. The plants can conceal the cords as well. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the light. It's super bright, you guys. I'm loving how bright it is. And we're going to start placing the plants on here, starting with my string of turtles. Looking lush and beautiful. It's very important for most of these plants that I'm placing on here that it has enough strong lights. I do also put this light on a timer. I have that linked also in the description box for you guys, the timers that I like to use. This is where I decided that I'm not going to use that Enjoy on the shelf. I'm going to place her somewhere else. When styling your plants on your bookshelf, I like to do groups of 5 or 7 plants per shelf. You don't want it to look too cluttered, but you also don't want a whole lot of empty space. And you want to vary the heights of your plants as well as choose a plant for your focal point. And so I like to move my plants around until I feel they look aesthetically pleasing to me. I don't want plants hiding behind other plants. I want all of them to be visible at a glance. And I think about that when I'm styling my plant shelves. I also think about the coordination of the pots that they're in. I like to use a lot of terracotta with my pots, but I don't like to keep my pots all the same color. I know some people like to do that, but I like to mix and match colors. It's also really important to use different risers for different plants. You can also use books. You can turn a pot upside down. Here I'm showing you my Haworthia. I believe this is a Haworthia that bloomed I love the blooms on them. They're like pink and green on the tips. They look like little balloons or like gumdrops. This last cacti was chopped recently. This is what the shelf is looking like. I really like the bright white lights. It makes the colors of the cacti and succulents pop so much. I hope you enjoyed watching this process. Now we're going to move on over to my kitchen and we are going to just add those lights that we removed from that shelf into my kitchen. On these shelves, these plants could use some more lighting. Again, they have the same type of light already, so I just added more lights to them. I feel like they are not getting a whole lot of light over in the kitchen, so it was important to add some more lighting to them. I will eventually change these lights out for some Barina lights that are larger or longer and stronger than these lights. These are just your basic lights from Amazon that I purchased when I first got into plants. And these were super inexpensive as well. But I want to give my plants the best lighting that I can, and I really like the Barina light. And so up here, I'm showing you that the plants on the top are not getting enough light, so they're starting to yellow off their older leaves. I had two of the shop lights left over, and it has a connection cord as well. And so I decided I wanted to put these up top above these plants here on this shelf because they're not getting adequate amount of light. And so I used an extension cord because the cord is not long enough to reach the plug. And again, they're super bright white lights. They are different than the hue on the lights on the shelves currently, but I'm not worried about that right now. I just want to provide my plants with the adequate amount of light that they need. And here I was just cleaning up some of the plants and getting rid of the yellowing leaves. That way I can tell if the lighting is helping with them. And dusting the shelf real quick. Just did a quick dust because I cleaned that shelf not too long ago. And here we're going to attach it here. Turn it on, and then I had this hook in the back, and I just decided to put the cord there so that it wouldn't tug on the light and the light wouldn't fall down. And placing the plants back on here, cutting off some super long leggy vines. I really like how bright white the lights are. I think it looks super bright and beautiful for my plants up there. I think they're going to love that Barina light. And here I'm showing you the Doc Block that I received or purchased previously not too long ago. I wanted to show you it because we are going to go ahead and repot her, you guys. Get her out of the substrate that she's in and put her into a bigger pot. I know she has an inflow and she also has a new leaf that she had unfurled, but I decided she really, really needs a repot. So we're going to go ahead and repot her. We're in the plant room now, checking her out. There goes her new leaf. And again, she has an inflow. I'm going to put some gloves on because I had watered her not too long ago. And I didn't want a muddy mess, so plus you never know what you're going to find in these soils. She is in dire need of a repot, as you can see. She has a lot of good, healthy pink roots. Looking beautiful, you guys. So we're going to remove all her substrate. It did take me a while because she was super root bound, and I was trying to be delicate with her roots because Anthurium roots can be a little delicate in the sense that they can snap easily. So I'm using my skewer just to pluck off and loosen up the soil. So now that I have removed all the soil, I did cut off some roots that looked mushy or stringy or really dark, like rotting. And now I'm just going to clean up and we're going to move on to repotting her. I gave her a good rinse down, you guys, and I rinsed her leaves off as well. I had this deli cup or pot ready for her, but as you are going to see, there's no way that she can be in this deli cup. She just has way too many roots. And I was going to try and make it fit, but then I was afraid that I was going to snap a lot of her roots, and she just couldn't fit in there. So I found this larger pot. It's larger in diameter, and so I think she can fit in here. I did add too much substrate, so I'm trying to sift it out so it can have more of the chunkier bits on the bottom, and then just add a little bit more so she has some soil that she can sit in. I'm using some Myco just to make sure that she doesn't go through any transplant shock. And then just going to go ahead and backfill. I wish I had a larger clear pot, but in the future I will be getting her one. She definitely needs a bigger pot because currently in this black pot she is drying out pretty fast because she's so well rooted, you guys. She also has an inflow, and I collected some of her pollen. I didn't record that because it's my first time doing that, so Maybe in the future I will do a video on collecting pollen from my anthuriums, but for now I'm kind of experimenting with them since I am pretty new to anthuriums. I wanted to give her a little bit more stability because she was a little wobbly. So I am going to grab a bamboo stick that I had on hand and give her some stability. I just clipped her largest leaf to the bamboo stick because that one's not like currently unfurling or anything. So, and it's fully grown. So I thought that one was the sturdiest stem to clip it onto. I'm giving her a good drink, you guys, because anthuriums do not like to be dry at all. So make sure when you repot your anthuriums, you give them a good drink. Water them in well. I'm going to wipe her leaves down with just some water and alcohol to try to get rid of the watermarks and anything else that the leaves might have. I didn't want to use Castile soap because I'm not sure how she's going to do with Castile soap, considering the leaves are kind of velvety. I hope you guys enjoyed this plant chore video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Let me know if you're into anthuriums, if you're looking for the Anthurium Doc Block. I do have one that I purchased that I repotted. I'm just looking for some new growth. Soon as I get some new growth, I will be posting her on my PalmStreet at Latina Plants, just like here on YouTube. If you're interested in checking out my PalmStreet and picking up any plants from me or this Anthurium Doc Block Michelle. Not this one in particular, this one's mine, but I do have another one that I will share. Thank you guys for joining me on this plant tour video, and I will check you guys out on my next one. Bye!